Hey guys, Michael Jerome here. Thanks for clicking on the video. Real quick, I'm in the middle of recording my reaction to Tet's Own Youth by Lupe Fiasco. And the very first track, Mural, blew my mind. And it deserves its own video. So I'm going to make a separate video. It's going to be part of a whole album reaction. So be on the lookout for that if you enjoyed this reaction. Like, comment, subscribe. If you subscribe, you'll get in your feed when it comes out. But this track it's incredible. I mean, talk about a guy who's on top of his game, who's just a master of his craft. Like, my mind is blown. So, anyways, I'll cut to my reaction to it. I hope you enjoy, and be on the lookout for the full album reaction. Thank you. Peace. But anyways, we got the next track. It's called Mural. This one's almost 9 minutes long. So we'll see what he has to say. That's a lot of time. I like those background vocals. Oh, already. All right, so we're in this minute deep, about a minute of instrumental. Very first bar. So he said, "We're all chemicals, vitamins, and minerals, Vicodin with inner tubes wrapped around the arm, to see the vein like a chicken on the barn." So basically numbing down. So humans themselves are all chemicals, vitamins, and minerals. And then Vicodin is like some sort of drug, right? I'm sure it's probably like an addictive drug that you inject in your arm. But then the wordplay on vein is insane. So obviously, if you're injecting something in your arm, you're injecting into like a vein, which is like body part, blood vessel. And then vein, I think, is also like what's on top of barns, like the little thing on top of barns. I don't know how else to describe it. But then also the saying like in vain, like don't use the Lord's name in vain. And like doing drugs has a negative connotation, obviously. So that's in vain. Jesus Christ, man. Literally the first 20 words he says is a triple entendre. Like, I can't be asked to catch all these. You gotta be kidding me. 20 words in, I probably missed something already.
So what powers cowards to get them to the top, just to fall asleep, listen in the box.
Oh man, that is insane. So what powers cowards to get them to the top, just to fall asleep listening to Bach? So obviously Bach is the old musician, I don't know, German or something, classical. But then he's saying in the whole realm of the bar, like what powers, or like what has people get to the top? So why do you put in all this work if once you get there you just fall asleep? You fall off, you stop caring about your craft that got you so far. And I mean, that is really evident. I think, like I said, this came out in 2015. I mean, around this time, actually just before this time, that's when we saw this whole string of like mumble rappers, like Lil Pump, 6ix9ine, all these guys who rode these waves to get to the top. So it might not even apply directly to this bar, because this is saying like, but I mean, you put in all that work, you get to the top, and then you lose sight of your goals and you fall off. It's kind of where I see that saying. And also Bach is like chicken, bok, 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 right? Like that's the sound it makes. So it's tying in the previous bar. Dude, this is wild.
Now what's the coffin with a scratch ceiling? And what's the talking without the match feeling?
Oh, again, man. Okay, so he's saying here, now what's a coffin with a scratch ceiling? And that's the talking without the match feeling. That's burned living. So, I mean, there's so many meanings in this. So, I mean, you're in a coffin and you're buried alive, right? So to get out, you try to scratch the ceiling. And if you have matches, you can light a match to help you see. It gives you this false sense of security, right? But it's also burning the oxygen, because fire needs oxygen to actually burn. So in that false sense of security is actually killing yourself. Are you kidding me, man? This is... Dude. Gee, I can see where y'all saying that this is one worth checking out. I mean, just the density in the very first verse, insane. I'm gonna try not to pause it as much, just in an effort to actually get through the album. But just know that I'm not catching them all, but I do see like the cleverness in a lot of these lines. Like It's insane, man.
1 minute you playing pool, next minute you throwing darts. I run the gambit like I'm throwing cards.
Oh, I like that bar. 1 minute you're playing pool, next minute you're throwing darts. That's how you do with a party that you throw in bars. I run the gambit like I'm throwing cards. So I mean, Gambit. So like, you know, the show came on Netflix a little bit ago. The Queen's Gambit. You know, I related to chess, and then also isn't he like an X-Men character? I believe, something related to cards. And then obviously the bigger picture of the bar, where he's like in a bar. I mean, these are things you do in a bar. You know, you play cards, you throw darts, you do this and that. But then also, what he says here, 1 minute you're playing pool, next minute you're throwing darts. So like playing pool is a very social thing. It's a very like friendly thing, right? Like, oh, you're gonna play a game of pool, you're gonna hang out with the homies. But then throwing darts is something like throwing shots almost, right? Like if you're throwing darts, I don't know, I might be pushing that one.
I prefer girls to rain all over the world, and not rain like Rain Man, or rain like Rain Dance.
The wordplay on rain here is insane, right? So he throws a bar about weathermen, weatherwoman. You know, and a lot of this bar I think is sort of about empowering women, right? So then he says, I prefer girls to reign over all the world. So obviously, like, he's talking about weather, so rain can have the connotation as water falling from the sky, right? But then rain as in like rule over the world, like, you know, they're women, like, y'all can reign over the world, man. y'all have power, y'all have a voice, y'all, you know, you can do this shit too. But yeah, man, just the density of this is wild, fucking wild. My mind's low key blown right now. Like I do have the lyrics up right here, and I can't even keep up. Like, this, love this shit. I'm gonna love going back to this as well, because I just know I'm gonna pick up so much more listen after listen, and this just gives us so much replayability. I like the beat. It's very, I don't want to say, it's not too stripped back, but it's stripped back enough to where, you know, his voice is clearly at the forefront of everything.
Relapsed in the detox, then he back like a heat pack on his kneecaps at the weak spot, cause he want what we got, like, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest right there. The second half of that verse where he switched up the flow, I didn't catch anything. I was caught up in the flow. That was really, he definitely picked up the pace on it, which is awesome to hear. Adds a little bit of variability to the track, especially when you got something that's 9 minutes long. Definitely is needed. But gosh, the density, man, the density. Ain't no way you're gonna be catching everything in here. Like, there is so much. Like, right after he went through that whole weatherman rain scheme that I briefly pointed out, he went into Queens, like, you know, talking about Queens as in, you know, women, and then Queen as in the band, and then he mentions Bohemian Rhapsody, and, you know, just insane.
Spit it till the golden lock thoughts who like they porridge all watery, not scorching nor sorbity from the still orbiting sorcerer sorcery coming down.
Dude, no, man, these rhymes. The E sound, I don't know how many. Okay, I'm just gonna look at this one bar: poetry, Morrissey, watery, sorbet. I can't even say these were sorcery. Gorgeously, like, there's 6 or 7 rhymes and within 1 or 2 bars, like that. That's, dude. I don't know if I have the mental capacity. I don't know if I'm worthy to be listening to this, right? Like, there's so much density in here. I'm obviously just, I can't even pay attention to what he's saying. I got caught up in the rhyme scheme again. We'll keep it rolling, man. My mind is blown already.
And I feel like a missionary to a clitoris, the water bearer air of traditions that I swear to never change my chair position or condition.
Hold on, man. I can't just walk past that bar. The wordplay on missionary there is in, you know, like the position, and then also like a religious figure, someone who, I don't even know what they actually do, but it relates to religion. And then he ties it into the previous bars where he mentioned the Virgin Mary. I never really played Mortal Kombat like that, but I recognize those are Mortal Kombat characters.
Smarter science mixed with our art alliance, a fairy tale. Or maybe just until he realizes realness. Defeat Samsara, achieves nirvana and brilliance. Yeah.
All right, that was Mural, which is the first actual track that had lyrics in it. In Jesus, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I I caught maybe 2% of what was said there. It was that dense, like seriously. So first things first, 9-minute track. I love how he didn't even have a chorus. I love how the entirety of these 8 minutes, aside from that little like 1 minute instrumental intro, was just him spitting. It was just him playing into his greatest strength, which is his pen and which is his rapping ability. He doesn't mess around with any BS choruses. He can sound good on choruses. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he sounded good on a lot of them in drill music and Zion, but just purely him like spitting. This might be one of his greatest tracks, honestly. Like, and I feel like I can say that without even knowing what he's saying half the time. 98% of the time, excuse me. I mean, I've been recording for 30 minutes to get through 2 tracks, one of which was just an instrumental. I had to stop and just try to keep up and give some thoughts, but like this is insane. You know what? This is gonna be a separate video. It's only the 3rd popular track, but I have a feeling this is gonna deserve its own video. Like this is insane. I mean, some of my general overall thoughts of the track. I keep trying to bring it back to the track title being Mural. He doesn't really mention mural in the track other than there was that one bar about Chicago, like spray painting. So like graffiti on walls. So it might relate to that. But I think the biggest thing here is that, I mean, it's just him spitting for so long, so many lyrics, so many words. Like he's trying to paint a picture in our heads. And it's one that I definitely don't have yet. Like not on first listen, ain't no way. But yeah, I think that's the concept of the track. And I think that, I mean, he obviously talks about a whole array of things. I mean, he talked beginning about, just really clever lines as it relates to, rappers. He made that line about vein. So, I mean, humans all being these chemicals, we put chemicals in us. We do that in vein and relate that to chicken. Like, it's just bar after bar after bar after bar. And they're not all interrelated, but I think it's overall just like painting a picture of what we can expect for this album, and that is lyrical dominance. I mean, this is wild. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna have to listen to this at least 20, 30 more times before I'd be able to actually like review this. Like the density of this is just insane. Real quick, I'm gonna pull this up. Like look at Genius right now. Look at Genius. Everything is highlighted. Everything. Like, what the fuck, man? Well, that's so great too, because I mean, that just goes to show, like, if you actually create a work of art that is super dense like this, like it can actually be studied, and there's great value in it. And obviously there's value in here. I mean, you saw those comments, like people are finding all this stuff within his lyrics, and that's only going to come with many, many listens. So the best I can say right now is that I love that track, and I can already tell that may be one of his greatest tracks he's ever made. Honestly, like my mind is blown. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.